You've been eating breakfast wrong your entire life, and that one mistake might be the exact reason you can't lose weight, no matter how hard you try. What if the simplest, cheapest food in your kitchen was secretly the most powerful fat-burning tool available to you right now? In this video, a doctor breaks down the science behind why an egg breakfast can completely transform your body composition, boost your metabolism, and help you eliminate abdominal fat faster than most diets ever could. This isn't another generic weight loss tip. This is real evidence-based information that most people never hear. Stay until the end, because the way you prepare and eat your eggs makes all the difference, and getting it wrong could actually be working against your fitness goals, without you even knowing it. There is something deeply frustrating about doing everything right, cutting calories, skipping dessert, waking up early to exercise, and still standing on that scale watching the number refuse to move. Millions of people are stuck in that exact cycle, and the worst part is that most of them are missing the answer not because it's as complicated or expensive, but because it's sitting right inside their refrigerator. The truth about weight loss has been overcomplicated for decades by fad diets, misleading marketing, and supplement companies that profit from your confusion. But when you strip all of that away and look at the actual science, one pattern keeps emerging over and over again, and it starts with what you eat in the first hour after you wake up. Breakfast is not just a meal, it is a hormonal signal. It is the message your body receives first thing in the morning that determines how your metabolism behaves for the next 12 to 16 hours. When you eat a high-sugar, high-carbohydrate breakfast, or worse, skip it entirely, your body enters a reactive state. Blood sugar spikes, insulin surges, energy crashes, and by mid-morning you're already craving something that will sabotage everything you worked for the day before. This is not a willpower problem. This is a biology problem, and biology responds to information, which means you can change the outcome simply by changing what you send into your body first thing in the morning. That's where eggs enter the picture, not as a trendy superfood, not as a social media hack, but as one of the most thoroughly researched, clinically supported foods for sustainable weight loss and real fat burning available to any human being on the planet, regardless of budget, cooking skill, or dietary background. Eggs have been eaten by humans for thousands of years, and only in the last few decades did nutritional confusion cause people to fear them. The cholesterol panic, the fat phobia era, the obsession with low-fat yogurts and sugary cereals disguised as healthy options, all of that steered people away from a food that was quietly doing exactly what a weight loss breakfast is supposed to do. It was keeping people full, stabilizing blood sugar, fueling muscle, and helping the body burn fat efficiently. The irony is almost painful. To understand why an egg breakfast works so powerfully for slimming and fat burning, you have to understand what happens inside the body when protein hits the digestive system in the morning. When you consume high-quality protein early in the day, your body releases two critical hunger-suppressing hormones, GLP-1 and peptide YY. These hormones send a direct signal to your brain that says, you are satisfied, you do not need more food, and energy is available. At the same time, your levels of ghrelin, the hormone responsible for hunger and cravings, drop significantly. This hormonal shift doesn't last just an hour or two. Studies have shown that eating a protein-rich breakfast like eggs can reduce overall calorie intake by up to 400 calories across the rest of the day, without any conscious effort, without counting anything, and without feeling deprived. That is the kind of passive, automatic support for weight loss that no diet pill or powder can reliably replicate. But protein alone doesn't explain the full power of eggs. The yolk, which so many people were told to throw away, is where a significant portion of the metabolic magic actually lives. Egg yolks are rich in choline, a nutrient that plays a direct role in fat metabolism and liver function. Without adequate choline, fat can accumulate in the liver, and the body's ability to process and burn stored fat becomes impaired. Choline also supports brain function, which matters more than people realize when you're trying to lose weight healthily, because poor cognitive function, low mood, and mental fatigue are among the most underestimated reasons people fall off their health routines. When your brain is working well, your decision-making improves, your impulse control strengthens, and your ability to stick to healthy meal plans becomes dramatically easier. Nutrition and mental health resources often operate in separate conversations, but the truth is, they are deeply connected, and the egg yolk sits right at that intersection. Beyond choline, whole eggs provide vitamin D, vitamin B12, selenium, and high concentrations of leucine, an amino acid that acts as a direct trigger for muscle protein synthesis. Muscle tissue is metabolically expensive, meaning the more lean muscle you carry, the more calories your body burns at rest. This is the foundation of a truly boosted metabolism, not a supplement, not a detox tea, not an extreme restriction protocol. Building and preserving lean muscle mass through adequate protein intakes starting with breakfast is one of the most evidence-supported strategies to lose weight fast and keep it off permanently. Eggs provide all of this in a compact, affordable, easy-to-prepare package that takes less than 5 minutes to make and costs less than almost any other comparable source of nutrition. It is also worth addressing something that causes real confusion for a lot of people who are genuinely trying to take their fitness seriously: the question of eggs in cardiovascular health. For decades, the dietary cholesterol in egg yolks was treated as a direct threat to heart health. The science has shifted considerably since then. Current research, including large meta-analyses and clinical reviews, consistently shows that for most healthy individuals, dietary cholesterol from eggs does not meaningfully raise LDL cholesterol or increase cardiovascular risk. The liver adjusts its own cholesterol production in response to dietary intake, and the overall dietary pattern matters far more than any single food. People who eat eggs as part of a balanced whole food diet, rich in vegetables, fiber, and healthy fats, show no significant increase in cardiovascular markers. This is important context, because fear of eggs has caused many people to replace them with processed, carbohydrate-heavy breakfast options that genuinely do harm metabolic health over time. Correcting that misunderstanding isn't just useful for many people. It could be the turning point that finally makes their weight loss goals achievable. Now that the foundation is clear, it's time to go deeper, because knowing that eggs are beneficial is only the beginning. The way you prepare them, when you eat them, what you combine them with, and how many you consume, all influence how effectively they support your goal to eliminate abdominal fat and reshape your body over time. This is where a lot of general nutrition advice falls short. It tells you what to eat, but not how to eat it in a way that actually maximizes the fat burning and metabolic benefits. Small differences in preparation and context can produce meaningfully different outcomes in your body, and understanding those differences puts you in a position of real control over your results. Let's start with preparation, because this is where most people unknowingly undermine an otherwise excellent food choice. Boiled eggs, whether hard or soft, are consistently one of the best options for weight loss purposes. The reason is simple. No added fat is required in the cooking process, which means the calorie count stays low while the protein, healthy fat, and micronutrient content remains fully intact. A large boiled egg contains approximately 78 calories, 6 grams of complete protein, and 5 grams of fat, the majority of which is unsaturated. Poached eggs offer essentially the same profile. These two methods preserve the nutritional integrity of the egg while keeping the meal light, enough to be eaten in combination with vegetables, whole grains, or other fiber-rich foods, without pushing the breakfast into a calorie range that works against slimming goals. Scrambled eggs, cooked in a small amount of olive oil or grass-fed butter, are also an excellent option, particularly for those who want a slightly more satisfying texture and flavor. The key is moderation in the fat used for cooking. A teaspoon of olive oil adds about 40 calories and brings a dose of heart-healthy monounsaturated fat that actually supports the body's fat-burning processes. What to avoid, particularly for people with a specific goal to lose belly fat and reduce abdominal fat accumulation, is cooking eggs in large quantities of vegetable oils, cheese-heavy preparations, or pairing them with processed meats like bacon and sausage that bring significant sodium, saturated fat, and inflammatory compounds into what could otherwise be a metabolically supportive meal. The combination effect matters enormously. Eggs eaten alongside high-fiber vegetables, spinach, kale, tomatoes, bell peppers, mushrooms, onions create a breakfast that simultaneously addresses protein intake, fiber intake, micronutrient density, and caloric efficiency. Fiber slows gastric emptying, which means the meal stays in your stomach longer, extending the satiety window and further reducing the likelihood of overeating at the next meal. Fiber also feeds beneficial gut bacteria, which are increasingly recognized as a major factor in metabolic health, inflammation regulation, and even the body's tendency to store or burn fat. When your gut microbiome is healthy and diverse, your entire metabolic system functions more efficiently, and your capacity to lose weight healthily is significantly enhanced. A simple 2-egg scramble with a generous handful of spinach and a few cherry tomatoes is not just a tasty breakfast, It is a precision metabolic tool that addresses multiple physiological pathways simultaneously. Timing also plays a role that is more significant than most people account for. Eating breakfast within 1 to 2 hours of waking activates thermogenesis, the process by which the body generates heat through metabolic activity, earlier in the day when your circadian biology is best equipped to process food and burn energy. Skipping breakfast or delaying it by several hours, particularly in individuals who are already struggling to boost metabolism and address stubborn fat storage, can shift the body into a mild stress response that elevates cortisol, promotes fat storage particularly in the abdominal region, and blunts the hormonal signals that support appetite regulation throughout the day. For people specifically trying to eliminate abdominal fat, which is not just a cosmetic concern but a genuine cardiovascular and metabolic health risk, keeping cortisol controlled through consistent, well-timed meals is a non-negotiable strategy. There is also the matter of meal consistency and psychological sustainability, which is an underrated dimension of any long-term weight loss approach. One of the most powerful advantages of an egg-based breakfast is that it is genuinely easy to prepare, infinitely variable, widely available, and affordable enough to fit any budget. This matters because sustainable weight loss is not achieved through heroic short-term efforts. It is achieved through small, consistent habits that are easy enough to maintain even on tired mornings, busy weekdays, and stressful periods of life. Healthy meal plans that revolve around simple, satisfying, nutrient-dense foods like eggs remove one of the biggest barriers to adherence: the sense that eating well requires enormous effort, time, or financial resources. When your breakfast takes 5 minutes, costs under $2, keeps you full for 4 hours, and actively supports fat burning and muscle preservation, you have removed an enormous amount of friction from your weight loss journey. This is also where the conversation about mental health resources intersects in a way that deserves honest acknowledgement. People who struggle with weight often carry a significant psychological burden alongside the physical one: the frustration of repeated failed attempts, the shame of not seeing results despite effort, the anxiety that nothing will ever actually work. That psychological weight is real, and it affects behavior in tangible ways. When you begin to see consistent, reliable results from a strategy as simple as changing your breakfast, something important happens. Your confidence in your own ability to make changes grows. That confidence feeds forward into better decisions throughout the day: more movement, better hydration, healthier lunch choices, fewer impulsive late-night snacks. The breakfast choice becomes a keystone habit, and keystone habits are the foundation upon which entire lifestyle transformations are built. Fitness is not just about physical training, it is about building a life architecture in which health-supporting behaviors reinforce each other across the entire day. By this point, the case for the egg breakfast as a genuine doctor-supported strategy for weight loss is clear. But there is one more layer that is rarely discussed in mainstream nutrition content, and it may be the most important piece for anyone who has tried everything and still feels stuck. That layer is the relationship between protein-driven fat loss and the preservation of lean muscle mass during a caloric deficit. Most weight loss tips focus exclusively on the scale, on the number going down, but that number is not the whole story. In fact, losing weight without protecting muscle tissue is one of the most common and most damaging mistakes people make in pursuit of a slimmer body. And eggs, eaten strategically, address this problem in a way that very few other foods can. When the body is in a caloric deficit, consuming fewer calories than it burns, it needs to source energy from somewhere. The ideal outcome is that it draws primarily from stored body fat. The problematic outcome, which is extremely common on low-protein diets and extreme restriction protocols, is that it also breaks down muscle tissue for energy. This process, called catabolism, is metabolically disastrous for anyone trying to lose weight fast in a way that actually lasts. Muscle loss reduces your resting metabolic rate, meaning your body burns fewer calories at rest. This is the primary mechanism behind the dreaded weight loss plateau, and the reason so many people regain weight rapidly after restrictive dieting there. Metabolism has been downregulated precisely because they lost the muscle that was driving it. Eggs, with their complete amino acid profile and high leucine content, directly counteract this by giving the body the raw materials it needs to preserve and rebuild muscle tissue, even while fat is being burned. This is particularly relevant for anyone over the age of 35, when the body's natural tendency toward muscle loss, a process called sarcopenia, begins to accelerate. For this population, the importance of adequate protein intake at every meal, starting with breakfast, cannot be overstated. 2 to 3 whole eggs in the morning provide approximately 12 to 18 grams of complete, highly bioavailable protein that is rapidly absorbed and utilized by muscle tissue. Pair that with some form of resistance-based movement, even body weight exercises at home, and you are actively protecting your metabolic engine while driving fat burning. The result is a body composition change that goes far beyond a lower number on the scale: less abdominal fat, more visible muscle tone, better energy, improved insulin sensitivity, and a metabolism that is actually operating more efficiently than it was before you started. For individuals who are managing their weight as part of a broader health strategy, including those dealing with prediabetes, insulin resistance, or metabolic syndrome, the blood sugar stabilization effect of an egg breakfast carries additional clinical significance. Refined carbohydrates at breakfast trigger a rapid rise in blood glucose, followed by an insulin surge and subsequent crash that promotes fat storage, particularly visceral fat, the dangerous fat that accumulates around internal organs and is most strongly associated with cardiovascular disease and type 2 diabetes. Replacing a high-carbohydrate breakfast with eggs and vegetables fundamentally changes this hormonal cascade. Blood sugar rises slowly and moderately, insulin response is measured, and the body spends more time in a fat-burning metabolic state rather than a fat-storing one. Over weeks and months, this shift has a measurable impact on body composition, metabolic markers, and overall health that extends far beyond the scale. It is worth being explicit about what a practical, optimized egg breakfast for weight loss actually looks like in real life. Because theory without application doesn't change anyone's body. 2 to 3 whole eggs, boiled, poached, or scrambled in a teaspoon of olive oil, alongside a generous serving of leafy greens or other non-starchy vegetables, with water or unsweetened black coffee or green tea, constitutes a breakfast that is simultaneously low in calories, high in protein, rich in micronutrients, metabolically stabilizing, and deeply satisfying. It takes less than 10 minutes to prepare and can be prepped in advance for even faster mornings. For those who want additional volume without significant calorie addition, adding a slice of whole grain toast or a small portion of avocado introduces healthy fats and fiber that further extend satiety and support gut health. This is not a complicated protocol. It is a sustainable, evidence-based approach to nutrition that happens to also be one of the simplest and most affordable eating strategies available. The broader lesson here extends well beyond eggs. It is about learning to recognize which foods work with your biology rather than against it. It is about understanding that weight loss is not purely a matter of eating less. It is a matter of eating in a way that sends the right hormonal signals, supports the metabolic processes that favor fat burning over fat storage, and sustains the lean body mass that keeps your metabolism running efficiently over time. It is about building healthy meal plans around foods that are naturally satisfying, nutritionally complete, and genuinely enjoyable to eat, rather than suffering through restriction and deprivation until willpower collapses, as it inevitably does. Fitness is not a short-term project. It is a long-term relationship with your own body, and that relationship improves dramatically when it is built on accurate information rather than fear, confusion, or marketing mythology. Whether your goal is to lose weight fast for an upcoming event, to sustainably eliminate abdominal fat that has resisted years of effort, to boost metabolism that has slowed with age, or simply to build a morning routine that supports your energy, clarity, and long-term health, the egg breakfast is one of the most accessible, powerful, and underutilized tools available to you. The science is clear, the application is simple. The results, when paired with consistent movement, adequate hydration, quality sleep, and a broader commitment to nourishing rather than punishing your body, are real and lasting. Start tomorrow morning. 2 eggs, some vegetables, a cup of black coffee. Simple, sustainable, and as the research consistently confirms, profoundly effective.
There's a natural solution to speed up your metabolism, control cravings, and support your weight loss journey naturally and effectively. Click the link in the first pinned comment to start transforming your body. If you want to truly transform your body and learn how to lose belly fat healthily, don't stop here. In the next video, I'll share practical strategies and little-known secrets to boost your metabolism and keep the weight off for good. Click now and discover how to take your weight loss to the next level.